Ever, brides are spending more time on Instagram than any other platform. Your Instagram is the personality and the voice of your brand. And besides your website, it's one of the only avenues that you have right now. So we're gonna go over some Instagram best practices. Number one, remember this, you are not selling a dress, you're selling a lifestyle. Selling a dress on a mannequin doesn't do much for a bride when she's browsing for her dream dress, but showing a real bride smiling with her groom, that is something that she'll really buy into. We recommend posting about 3 to 4 times a day on Instagram, and you want to write cute, fun captions, use emojis, and make sure to use hashtags. We recommend about 6 to 11 of them per post as it increases exposure to new brides. Another feature on Instagram you should definitely be using is the Instagram story. And I cannot stress to you the importance of posting stories, as this is the first feature that Gen Z uses and sees when they open up the Instagram app. They want to see that you're active on your stories every single day, because like we mentioned, Gen Z has a lot of different options, and we want to make sure that you are relevant and at the very top of her list of options. So what can you post on Instagram stories? You can invite your previous brides to do an Instagram live or a Q&A and a fun chat. You can engage your followers with polls, countdowns, boomerangs, and GIFs on the stories. You can host an Instagram live with your stylists and consultants, or you could even go live with other friends at other bridal shops. The main point here is to keep things light and fun. This is a time to be creative, bond with your team and your customers, and have a good time with it. This branding is gonna go a very long way. Another tip is to post the stories to the highlights on your Instagram profile, as you can see here on this slide. This is so that brides can come back a year from now, 2 years from now, and they can look and see how much fun you have as a store. You can add cute highlight covers here to keep a seamless branded look online.
This is also, sorry, Robin, to interrupt you, but maybe we could also talk about Instagram Reels a little bit, which is kind of a similar kind of functionality as TikTok. So as you all know, TikTok is growing very, very quickly. It's kind of surpassing Instagram and Facebook probably combined in terms of user acquisition and usage. But there's still a lot of people on Instagram using the app. So Instagram decided to just build the same kind of feature that TikTok is doing and call it Instagram Reels. So it's REELS. And it's the same kind of concept. You make a video and you put a song and you use the song and you put it on the Reels. And the reason why I recommend you do it now is the fact that Instagram is really trying to push that feature. So you will get a ton of exposure in front of your brides and prom girls. They've been trying to compete with TikTok, and they're trying to push these videos in front of people to get more engagement, so more people will start doing it. So it's a really good opportunity to do it. And somebody's asking, how often should we post Reels? And my recommendation is as many you can right now. This is the beginning. You wouldn't get penalized. You actually get better placement, in my opinion, with the algorithm, because Instagram sees that you're active, they'll give you more exposure. And it's also worth noting that TikTok is gonna be really great for prom, to be honest with you, at least to build some brand awareness. The content creation is a process. You really have to plan it out. It's very different from Instagram, and you have to try to be funny, but try to see what are the trends that are close to prom or bridal. If there's a specific dance that is doing well or a specific music that does well, try to use those trends and create a TikTok or a reel. And the best thing to do is to use the TikTok app and also export it for Instagram, because in my opinion, TikTok app is much better in terms of editing and managing the video content and creating the content for the videos that you could use to export to Instagram. And you know, I understand TikTok is for teenagers, but they did announce as part of their acquisition, and coincidentally, actually today, Microsoft actually pulled back from their deal, but Oracle, you know, which is a really big company here in the States, they finalized that deal. So Oracle is a part owner of TikTok now here in the United States. And granted that the app is good for teenagers, but they're going to be your customers at some point, right? And Instagram, when it started, everybody was like, oh, this is good for photographers. You know, that was the whole concept behind Instagram, you know, in the beginning, you know, 10 years ago, 8 years ago when they started. But once they added the social media component, they noticed that there's a sense of community. People like to interact with the content. People like to share the content. It's the same kind of strategy behind TikTok, right? If you look at the views, if you look at the engagement, it's very high and it's cheap right now to get exposure on TikTok. They're also running, they're allowing businesses to run ads on TikTok. You can get a $300 free credit and run your advertisement on TikTok right now. It's worth just trying it. You know, you may get some people interested in your business, but $300 free, just give it a try. It's definitely worth trying it. And please interrupt us, ask questions, collaborate. We love for you to ask questions in the chat, or if you have a microphone, you can definitely ask your questions. We want you all to participate. And again, at the end of this call, we're gonna do a website audit. So we would love to have you to include your website in the chat so we could kind of look at your website all together, figuring out the areas that we could improve and help you make your website perform better. So Robin, would you like to go back to the next slide? Sorry, I interrupted you, but I think TikTok was the important part.
Absolutely. So going back to Instagram again, if you ever feel like you're running out of content or you need new content, you can always repost images or videos of your models, your designers' models, or influencers on your stories in addition to your feed. And girls love this content. Tag the models, tag the influencers, so then they can repost your video or your image on their profile, and then that's going to get you even more exposure and get you out to even more brides. On the next slide, we have Later, Planoly, and Sched Social. These are tools that you can use to schedule your posts out and your stories on Instagram ahead of time. We'll touch base on these a little bit more in the QA on the end, but these are great tools to help you plan out those posts and help you save time with posting on Instagram. And while Instagram is the platform your brides are on most, Facebook also holds major importance. Over the past few months, due to social distancing and stay-at-home orders, the Facebook usage has increased significantly because there is a sense of community on Facebook. It's also another resource for your brides to find your store's information. So remember to post, respond, address your reviews, and stay active on Facebook as well. At this point, I'm going to hand it over to you, Mike. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. So like Robin said, the Gen Z kind of grew up with smartphones and internet. They generally spend about 6 to 9 hours a day on their phone. And I like to take you through the 4 online checkpoints during the typical Gen Z bridal journey. So Gen Z is Googling terms like wedding dresses near me. She's then visiting websites to see which stores appeal to her. Next, she wants to see that you are active on social media. If she decides she likes everything that she sees, she'll be back to your website to book an appointment. In our research, we found that majority of the brides are starting the journey to book an appointment on Google. So today we're going to cover the main areas of Google that are critical to your business to be visible. And again, we understand that the brides start the whole process on Pinterest and they do the research, but after working with all these bridal shops over the past 4 years, we noticed that when they're ready to take actions, when they're ready to book an appointment, they don't go on Facebook or Instagram and look for bridal shop near me or wedding dresses near me. They always go to Google. It's like if you are looking for a restaurant, you may see some posts on Facebook, but at the end of the day, you go on Google and search for Italian restaurant around me or pizza near me, right? So this is the same concept. Now, there are 3 main areas that your business can show up on Google: the ads, which is the top section here, the map, and the organic search results. We're going to start with the top section of Google, which is where the paid ads known as Google Ads show up. So we talk to people every day and they say, well, I normally just scroll past the ads and, we get it. But you have to remember that roughly 50% of the people that use Google click on these ads. So just because you personally may not like clicking on these ads, doesn't mean that your customers don't, right? So that's important to note. And also remember, Gen Z kind of grew up with Google, and they're perfectly okay with ads as long as they're relevant. In fact, we did a research. More than 50% of Gen Z, they like ads because it helps them to find what they're looking for. So if you're not running ads, you're definitely losing market share in your area, because there are brides who are actively in the market, but they can't find you because you don't have a way for them to find you besides your website and your social media. Now that we talked about the importance of the ads, let's talk about how do we write effective ads. One of the first things to consider when setting up your Google ads is the keywords. So by keyword, we are referring to the terms like wedding dresses, right? So you want your ad to show up for when brides in the area are Googling for the keywords like wedding dresses, city name, or wedding dresses. I'm gonna use Austin as an example. Wedding dresses in Austin, Texas, or plus size wedding dresses in Austin, Texas. Now, this is where a lot of stores make their mistake with Google, and they kind of target the term wedding dresses, but they set the campaign setting as broad match. What broad match does is it's an easier way to set up these campaigns, but the problem is when somebody's searching for purple or rentals for wedding dresses, your ads will still pop up. And you may end up having a lot of clicks that are not relevant to your business because you don't want to sell rental. You're not selling purple wedding dresses, right? So then you would have to add negative keywords to say, if people are searching purple or green or rental, don't show my ads. So those are called negative keywords. It's a lot of work because you still have to sit down, enter all these negative keywords. It's a ton of time that you could be saving if you use a different strategy. So what is that other strategy? Our recommendation is to use exact match keyword strategy. So what that does is it tells Google if somebody is searching for wedding dresses in Austin, Texas, and that's it, or bridal shop near me, or wedding dresses near me, then you show my ad. If they put in something random in there, rental or consignment, or wedding dresses in a different country, you don't want your ad to be shown up, right? So this will prove and this will secure those keywords from showing up when people are searching for wedding dresses. So that's a really good way to keep your budget healthy. Again, the keyword strategy is called exact match. Don't go with the broad match. So that's the note here. Now, it's also very important to talk about the locations because it's very important that you get very specific with the locations that you're targeting. For instance, if your store is in Flagstaff, Arizona, then the last thing you want to do is to run your ads across the entire United States. this is going to eat up your budget very quickly, and a majority of your clicks are going to be from unqualified brides, right? So what you should do is to target the areas like neighborhoods and zip codes that you can draw brides from, and areas that you are wanting to get more brides to your shop. So for instance, if you see that there's a specific neighborhood or zip code in your city that you're getting good qualified brides, both Google and Facebook allow you to actually target those brides and bring those brides to your shop, right? I do see some questions here. So as we go through the slides, we can definitely answer these questions. How many keywords are normal? So that's one of the questions asked. So in our campaigns, we found that there are about 300 to 350 keywords that are effective. Some of them are plus size wedding dresses or couture wedding dresses or the designer names that you carry. Like if you carry Anne Barge, for instance, you can put an Anne Barge as your keyword and put in Anne Barge wedding dresses. So that way, if somebody's searching for Anne Barge, your ad would pop up, right, in your area. The other strategy that we recommend you do is to include silhouettes and necklines, like ball gowns or A-line. These are all really good keywords that people search for. The best one ever is wedding dresses near me or bridal shop near me. Those are the best ones that you can always guarantee that you will get more clicks and more qualified appointments. Great questions. Thank you for all the great questions here. So now let's talk a little bit about Google Ads discussion, and perhaps let's talk about why we recommend Google Ads and why you should run it year-round. You want to take a look at the return on investment here. So let's say that you start a campaign with a $20 per day limit. And let's say that your budget of $20 gets you about 15 clicks each day. And out of those 15 clicks, you get one qualified appointment. If you end up closing that appointment, you just brought in $1,500 or whatever your average gown price is as a result of your $20 investment. So essentially you spend $20 and you got one appointment. If you have 100% closing ratio, you obviously are in a really good spot, and you spend 20 bucks and you brought in $1,500 into the shop, right? But now let's say that you have a 25% closing ratio. You probably have to work on that a little bit there. But even with a 25% closing ratio, that means that we need to get 4 appointments to get one dress sold, right? Google Ads still makes sense. Why? Because you would be paying Google $80. Again, $20 per appointment times 4, that's $80 to Google to sell one gown for $1,500, right? If anybody tells me, hey, if you make it $80 investment, I'll give you $1,500 back, I would make that investment any day, right? So I understand that some of y'all have tried this in the past. The problem with other marketing agencies is the fact that they don't understand bridal markets. There are so many good marketing agencies out there that they know how to generate appointments for doctor, for dentists, but they don't know how this industry works. There are specific months that you have to really push. There are certain keywords that give you the best return on investment and more appointments. Now that we talked perhaps about the Google Ads, let's dive into your website. Your website is your first impression. We all know that, right? It's important that it's engaging and it's mobile friendly with clear call to actions. So what are the call to actions? The call to actions are the phone numbers and the booking appointment at the top of every page. We call those call to actions. As an overview, your website needs to be practical, innovative, engaging and modern and up to date. As mentioned previously, your site should have prominent call to actions like book an appointment and your phone number. And this is something that we always encourage our the people that we talk to. Obviously, on all the websites that we created, we always put the call to actions at the very top, especially on mobile. As you know, 90% of your traffic is on mobile, right? So you want to make sure the first thing they see is your phone number or your booking appointment link. That's ultimately what you want them to do, right? Because you pay all these advertisements, you build the beautiful website that you do, and at the end of the day, you want to make sure they book an appointment. But if you don't give them that excuse, or if you don't entice them, encourage them to book an appointment, they won't. That's why you have to make it clear every single page. It's also important that you have up-to-date information like hours, availability of private appointments or virtual appointments, or your store photos on the homepage. You know, that really helps you to engage with the right demographic. If you upgraded your store, you know, in the past year or so, but you haven't updated your website photos, it's a great time to just perhaps upload the new photos and let them know that, hey, we've seen this a lot, to be honest. We talked to folks that they forgot that they need to update their website, and they spent $40,000 on a floor, or they made major enhancements and nobody can see it on their website. I think that's very, very important to showcase that. It's also a great time to present your sample sale to generate some awareness, additional interest, and revenue. We typically create a landing page that lists all the samples that you have in the shop, and we put them up on the website. If you would like, we could also run a sale, but a lot of our clients, we notice that when we run a campaign on Facebook and create a brand awareness campaign or a traffic campaign to the website, to the sample sale event, for the most part, I could tell you our clients, they sell everything they have on the floor. I mean, it works really well for our clients when we use this strategy. Now, the wish list is a very, very important part of what we do. It really increases the engagement for the brides. People stay longer on your website. They can use it as a tool to save dresses that they like. And also, it's the same concept behind Pinterest boards, but on your website. So we're going to demonstrate how that works and why you should have a wish list, and how you can actually retrieve all the information about what your brides actually like, right? At the end of every website, there's a footer. Make sure you're displaying accurate store hours, information in the about your FAQ, about your terms. It's a very good way to include links that you don't necessarily want to include at the very top, but you still have to have it on the website. We also like to talk about Drift as a tool. It's kind of like a live chat on the website. It's a great way to engage with your audience and pick up potential sales from customers actively searching for information. Like if somebody has a question about a specific gown, or if they would like to book an appointment on the chat, a lot of our clients using Drift, it's drift.com. It's free. It does a really good job in terms of their communication. You can download the app on your phone. So if somebody's on the website and asking questions, you can easily just pick up your phone and respond to them like a text, and they'll get it right away. It's a very good way to engage with your customers. Now, the next topic here is, I'm sure it's very vague. SEO is something that I'm sure you're receiving a bunch of emails from all over the world saying, hey, we can get you #1. But you know, in a nutshell, SEO is how you can rank high on Google without paying for placement. And I don't want to get too much in the technical side in respect to SEO, but the biggest factors are relevancy, keywords, metadata, and quality. So let's talk about relevancy a little bit. Relevancy is when Google sees your website and it notices that you have keywords like wedding dresses, and you're listing designers on the homepage. You have banners for the designers, and their algorithm determines, okay, this must be a bridal shop. They claim that they're a bridal shop. They also put all these wedding dress related keywords on their homepage. They have all these designers who happen to be a wedding dress vendor. So I'm going to rank this website because they're a legitimate business. This is why you should have keywords on the homepage. For instance, wedding dresses in Austin, Texas. If you use those keywords on the homepage, you will get higher placement. So make sure that you have a paragraph talking about the designers you carry. Make sure you have a paragraph about the experience the brides are gonna have at your shop on your homepage. That will help you with your SEO. And the quality of the website, which is honestly the most important aspect to consider, is very, very, it's honestly the most important part, and here is the reason why. Google has access to know how many people actually go to your website and how many pages they visit and what percentage of these people actually exit after 10 seconds, 15 seconds. So if your website is not mobile friendly, and if somebody is actually looking at your website on a mobile device and they go to your website and they go, oh, I can't even browse this page, they bounce back, Google knows. And what happened is they derank you. They lower the ranking because they know that you are not offering a good experience for the user, right? So make sure your website is mobile friendly. Make sure it loads very quickly. Website speed is very, very important. A lot of our websites, we optimize them to load under 1.5 seconds. The average is about 6 seconds for other websites. If you're using WordPress or Squarespace, because it's a cheaper option, it loads very longer, honestly. But we determined that this is one of the best way for our clients to rank higher. So we spend a lot of money to optimize their websites to load very quickly under 1.5 seconds. The next topic I'd like to talk about here, and I do actually see some questions. Let me get to the questions here. So which months should you say that you could run? I assume that that's for the ads. I guess somebody's asking which months would you say are the best for the ads? My recommendation is January, February, March. Obviously, everybody knows that those are the golden months. We've had really good results in July, very good results in July. It's, as you all know, people like to get rid of their samples in July. October and November also, like half of November is also a really good month for us. For some reason, last October was like some of the highest number for our clients. A lot of brides started looking into wedding dresses back in October. I don't know, maybe it was because they were trying to have a wedding in 2020 and they were trying to get everything ready in October 2019, but it was a really good month for us. So essentially there are 5 months that we know on Google you will really get the return on investment. And if you push those ads during those 5 months, you will get really good return on investment. Great question here. The next question is, how frequently are SEO rankings measured? So what happened is Google indexes and crawls your website on daily basis. Almost every day they look at your website, they see how you are optimizing your website. So the more you optimize, the better placement you will get. This is why we tell our clients that SEO is not a project, it's a process, meaning that you have to optimize your website on a weekly basis, adding more blog posts, adding more landing pages. If you don't have a landing page for plus size wedding dresses, then Google doesn't know that you offer plus size wedding dresses, right? So if you add that landing page on your website, or if you have a neckline, or if you have a blog post, right? All these strategies will help you to get higher placement. But to answer your question, that would be on daily basis. The other question is, should Q&A be on the homepage? The Q&A could be on the footer. It could be a link that could be linked from the footer. Some people put it on the top menu. I encourage everyone to include the wedding dresses on the top menu, the book an appointment, to contact about the store, designers on the homepage and on the top menu. But the FAQ or Q&A could be at the bottom. Honestly, it's something that usually people look for when they're using for those links. Great questions, and please keep those questions coming. I love answering those questions. Everybody's asking very, very good questions here. So the next topic we want to cover here, which is a new thing, unfortunately, it's about ADA compliance. The picture here, shows a little bit about the contrast errors, but essentially, ADA stands for Americans with Disability Act, and it requires that your business provides reasonable accommodations to individuals with disabilities. Like, when you rented your place or when you bought your shop, you had to have a handicap parking, right? So that's part of the ADA. Or your restroom must be available for people who are on a wheelchair, right? That's ADA. In 2018, the DOJ, or Department of Justice, also ruled that your business's website also must provide reasonable accommodations to individuals with disability. And unfortunately, there are no clear, easy to follow guidelines. And this has resulted in a lot of lawsuits, right? Unfortunately, some of these attorneys are taking advantage of this law. They found this loophole and they're suing dry cleaners, bridal shops. We've heard many in the past couple months, unfortunately, that they got a lawsuit. The average is about $12,000 to $18,000, for the settlement. It's not fair. It pisses me off, to be honest with you personally, because it's, we are in the middle of a pandemic and, some people have to deal with these things as well. But we have a really good blog post about this on how you can solve this using tools. So, and we will actually go over this at the end of this perhaps presentation. We will show you how you can use this tool to identify the errors on your website and how you can solve those issues to ensure you're not getting a lawsuit, and we will actually go in depth. Now, I'm sure you've heard in the past couple months that the e-commerce is growing exponentially, I think it's a good opportunity for you to sell your older discontinued samples online. I believe it will help you to get additional revenue to your shop. During the pandemic, we noticed that the number of orders for our websites that we manage, it went up dramatically. When the stores opened, some of our shops still get some orders online, but don't expect that the e-commerce is going to replace your store revenue. It's a good source of revenue, to pay at least for your website fees or your marketing fees, but it's not going to replace your entire revenue at the store. We also want to talk about reputation. It's a very important topic. Reputation online is something that a lot of folks are struggling with. So our advice is to ensure that when you get a negative review on Google, that you respond immediately. That's very, very important. You should also be transparent and explain your side of story and, perhaps tell them what you did to resolve the situation. The best way to lessen the effect of negative reviews is to significantly increase the amount of positive reviews you have. So in other words, if you have 600 positive reviews and 5 people actually write a negative review, it's not going to have that much impact. And you may say, okay, how do I get more positive reviews? The best strategy we found is to incentivize your brides. How? When they're at the shop, give them a free pair of earrings that you get for a couple bucks, or give them a gift, perhaps gift card for a Starbucks, right? I think that would really help you to get more positive reviews. You can also use other tools in the market. There's if you are using Bridal Live, by the way, we have a really good relationship with folks at Bridal Live. We have full integration with them, but Bridal Live has this awesome tool called Smart Flow. I think it's called Smart Flow, that enables you to send a text message to your customers to write a review. And with that feature and functionality, you can edit the link. So when the email goes out or the text goes out to the bride, it would land on the Google page to write a review. It's very important that you maintain 4.3 and above on your reviews. Very, very important. Now, I'd like to ask everyone to perhaps include some of your websites so we could review it all together. And perhaps we could maybe, if you have more questions, I'm happy to answer them, but maybe we could start. I think Dress Galaxy was one of the first one that they listed their website earlier. So Pete, if you don't mind, maybe we could start looking at their websites and start showcasing the areas that they could improve. And Gina is asking, I used to direct weddings, and I had a girl, her husband and her friend post 1 star on my bridal store Google review, and I've tagged it a dozen times to Google. That is not relevant. So unfortunately, Gina, that it happens. We know some people are dishonest, and you know, we are in the service industry. Sometimes you have a bad experience and they try to write negative reviews. The best way to, again, lessen the effect of that negative one, promote your existing bridal customers and tell them, hey, I'm gonna give you this gift card for $5 if you write a review. Incentivize it, encourage them to write positive reviews. Unfortunately, there's not a way to delete the negative reviews. But if you get positive ones, the negative ones will be buried, right? So that's the strategy, and that's not too hard to get positive reviews. So I'm gonna ask Pete, if you could share your screen, please, with your browser, and perhaps you could, there we go. So this is Dress Galaxy, very good, very good. Right off the bat, I like this website that is secure. So if you see this icon on the top of the page, it says connection is secure. That's perfect. That's very, very good. And this will help you with your SEO. This will help you with your, you know, the way that the customers behave on your website. Because if this website wasn't secure, there would be a lock button here that says, hey, do not enter your information to this website because this site is not secure, okay? One thing you could definitely optimize here is adding the call to actions. So make sure that you are including your call to actions on the top right corner. You know, either it's great to get direction, or if you want them to call you, ensure you have your phone number here. The other thing that perhaps you would like to Pete, if you could scroll down a little bit on the main slider, you also want to make sure you have call to actions, right? There's no call to action on the main slider. That doesn't encourage your customers to click. So make sure that you have a call to action to get them to click. That's very, very important. Otherwise, they won't, right? Pete, if you could scroll down. I think your homepage is very short, honestly, and you could definitely add more sections. So Pete, maybe you could show one of our websites, maybe Town and Country, as an example. Okay, perfect. So this is an example of some of the websites that we've done. And if you look at this website, we try to make the call to actions very prominent on the top. So the phone number is clear. The booking appointment is very clear on every single page. And we use this technology. It's like a way that we built these websites with sticky footer. So could you, sticky header, sorry. If you could scroll down, as you can see at any point when you are scrolling down, the header information, the header links, and the call to actions are always sticking with the browser. This will help your bride to know that they can book an appointment or call your shop or go to different pages. If you add this kind of behavior, you will increase the page views by at least 20%, meaning people will click more because they can see the links very easily on the top. But if you compare this page to the one that we were showing, there are more call to actions. There are more links to click. Brides get more excited about clicking on this one because they feel like there's more information. And most importantly, you also want to make sure that you have the product. So Pete, if you could click on the wedding dresses and maybe show how that portion actually works.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think a big part of what these brides are looking for these days when they come to look at your website is the dresses. You know, they want to look and see what's out there. So this can actually be a really nice source for a couple things for you, really. I mean, I think number one, by listing all of your different designer collections on the website, you're pushing a lot of content out to Google. Okay, and so we've talked a lot about Google today, about how it's honestly probably the biggest source of appointments for your bridal shop. And so, you know, when you have a page and you just kind of show your designer names and maybe a few styles, you know, that's just not going to cut it really anymore today. You know, it's so competitive out there. So what we do is we actually work with all the designers in this space, and we actually get all the style imagery and information, and we bring that over to your website. And so that each individual dress has its own page as far as Google is concerned, and as far as, you know, the person that's going through this website. And so what that does is, number one, it gets more brides to your door in the first place, because we're pushing out hundreds of pages for Google to pick up on with different silhouettes, links, designer names, fabrics, everything related to every wedding dress that you could potentially get for these girls. You're pushing that out there to Google. So number one, you get more people to your store or your website in the first place. And then number two, this is what they want. You know, they want to look and check you out before they just click on, you know, go to your homepage and click book an appointment. So if you give them that, and you give them the ability, like we mentioned earlier, to add them to a wish list, you'll have more people that stick around and spend time here. And I don't know if Mike mentioned earlier, but, you know, we've noticed that the longer that somebody stays around on your website, the better chance that they'll click book an appointment. And, you know, I think it makes sense. You know, if somebody's on your website for 30 minutes, they've looked at 20 pages, why would they just go back to Google and start over and pick a completely different store? I mean, you know, they're investing a lot of time. It's kind of showing that their interest. It would make sense that from there, you know, they'll book an appointment. So anyways, the problem with not doing this is you don't have enough content to keep them on your website for 20, 30 minutes. So what ended up happening is, if they don't have all the different dresses to look at, and you don't have any other type of content that really keeps them there, they just go look at what else. You know, they're, okay, that was cool, what else? So anyways, we use the dresses to keep them here, give them what they want, which is to look at the dresses, and then give them a tool, which is the wish list, which allows them to save the ones they like, you know, look at related products and just keep track of it, so they can, you know, show mom later, or, you know, more importantly, they can give that directly to you, which I'll show you kind of how that looks. So, you know, pretend somebody's coming into the store, they're, you know, they made an appointment with you. Well,
could you please explain this? Sorry to interrupt you, but this is the back end of the website that we developed. So this is basically the platform that we have, the Cybo platform that we designed, and every customer has access to get this information in hand.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is kind of the engine, if you will, behind these websites that we built. And so say, you know, this girl's coming in for an appointment later, you know, you can already see, okay, you know, she's into allure, she likes this style, she likes this long, you know, train, or just what have you. You know, you can kind of infer some information about this girl, and you didn't even have to ask her. You know, you can get your store ready, you can let your stylist know. I mean, you just have some more information. Whereas if you just have a basic website that lists out your designer name and says, call me, you know, you're just not getting any of this information. And we could take that one step further. If you have something like this, I just will show you. You know, you can use your in-store sales, you know, certainly, you know, when you go to something like Market, like right now, and you're trying to figure out who you want to purchase, what's, you know, who you're going to buy from. I think there are other indications that are useful, you know, for your store, that can kind of give you some good insight. So let's just pretend that in this store's case, let's just say Essence is not their number one seller. I don't know if they are. I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking. So Essence, they're not doing too well sales in store for this store, hypothetically. But if this store looks and they see this report that, hey, Essence is by far and away, and this report, just to back up, shows you the most popular designers on your website based on the wish list activity. So what are girls adding? Is it Martina? Is it Essence? Well, what are they adding? And it ranks that for you. And so in this case, if you have a designer like Essence or Stella, maybe they're not doing so well in store, but you must keep them because it's clear from a report like this that they're what's bringing the girls in. And I'm sure a lot of y'all can relate that, these girls, sometimes they come in with a style in mind. They buy something completely different. Happens probably every day for you. So I know I'm, just preaching what you already know, but I think so having this specific type of information on your website, and at your fingertips, I think can help you just make better buying decisions, if anything, or reinforce what you already know. So point is, wish list, I mean, it's not just like, simple, okay, my customers can save things. It's a tool. It's a tool for you and for them to both save all the dresses that they're interested in, keep them on the website, make them come back if they leave, and for you to get some good information about your designer. So all of that I just said is kind of the reason why you should add the dresses to your website and why you should have the ability for the girls to save the dresses they like and then get reporting on that wish list.
Absolutely. That's thank you for demoing that, Pete. The next topic that we want to talk about, maybe Pete, also we could talk about the ADA compliance and how folks can understand to analyze their website to see if their website is ADA compliant. So maybe
Yeah, for sure.
The same website. Yeah.
Sure. So we'll send you this tool. You can just type in Wave, accessibility tool, and you'll find it. This is the one that everybody is using. And by everybody, I mean the lawyers that are, going after these stores and kind of finding out if they have errors. And so what it does is it just looks at the code on your website and sees if somebody who's using like a screen reader or other tools, because they have a sort of disability that prevents them from just using the website as it might be intended. But so in this case, what you see is errors, and what these lawyers are doing is they're just scanning all the websites they can for retail businesses and finding the ones that have errors, and then looking at other indications to see if they're good targets. So basically, the lesson is if you run this tool on your website and you have errors, you should correct that. Because you got to imagine if the lawyer is scanning thousands of sites and they're trying to figure out which ones might be the best targets, if you have 0 errors on all the pages on your website, maybe they won't even think about taking it to the next stage. So this is not a guarantee by any means, but it is a deterrent, if you will. So you can kind of protect yourself, just make the target on your back a little smaller by just getting rid of these errors. Now, talking about getting rid of these errors, some of the challenge with it is you're going to need some level of technical capability or understanding to even know what this means. Mm-hmm. So unfortunately, it's not something that you can just use this tool to fix right away yourself, unless you have a background in these things. That being said, you can bring an attention to whoever would be your person for this, or if you work with us, it's taken care of. But yeah, I mean, Mike, as far as this, any other
Sure. The other thing that we encourage you to include to your website is a accessibility statement. So this is an example of what we did for one of our clients. So essentially, you have to include this statement on your website and say, hey, we understand that we need to have our website to be compliant. And in case if you have any questions, you can reach out to us with this email and with this phone number. So if you scroll down, Pete, a little bit further down, please, that is the phone number and that is the email. And it looks like DOJ, they said your phone number has to be available 24 hours and 7 days a week. I don't know how a small business honestly can do that. So that's part of the writing. If you would like to have a copy of this statement, send us an email. We're happy to send it to you. It's a template that we got from an attorney, and we have their permission to use it for other websites as well. But you have to have this in the footer of your website for people to click on in case if they have questions about accessibility. And
looks like, yeah, I was going to
ahead.
just say, Mike, looks like we have another site if you wanted to take a look.
Sure.
It's the Bridal Cottage online here.
Perfect.
So yeah, this one is just a direct message to me.
Oh, awesome. Perfect. So it looks like on this one, right at the bat, I do like that you have the store pictures, like some level of pictures from your store on the homepage. And I like the gowns that they look great. I really like that. And one thing I like the most on this website is the call to action on the top right corner. That's perfect. You see, as soon as you land on this page, that's honestly, you see the logo and then you see some images and then your eyes goes toward the request an appointment because it kind of pops, among the links on your website, right? You have to have that to get more appointments. If you don't have proper call to actions, you won't get clicks, you won't get appointments. Now, it would be nice. And what's the name of this person, if you could?
Their name in chat is just the name of the store. So.
Oh, the name of the store. Okay.
Yeah.
So it would be nice if you could also include the phone number, right? So if you could go to Pete, if you could go show some of our examples, like this one, Lindy. No worries, Lindy. Great to meet you. So this, make sure you have your phone number also, because the phone number, some people like to, call you right away, especially on a mobile device. We notice that a lot of people like to click and just make a phone call because they don't even have to type the phone number. So let's take a look at the mobile experience on this website. This is another area that you could definitely improve. Make sure that the phone number and the booking appointment, the same link that you had on the desktop showing up on the right corner, please make sure that this also shows up on the top header at all times. Again, examples, Pete, if you could show, there you go. So you see the book an appointment, very prominent. The first thing they see, book an appointment. And then also we have the phone icon that basically shows up right here, meaning that they can make a phone call right there. On every single page we have it, right? That helps you to get more appointments. Now, go back to, yes, please. Thank you, Pete. If you could look at the desktop one more time. So you have some homepage call to actions. That's great. You have some blog. Looks like your Instagram. It's not your fault. While Instagram changed their API. API is a program. They changed their API. So if you were using a plugin, I'm sure it stopped working, right? So we actually had to go back and rebuild our connection to Instagram for our website so it would work. So I want to say 90% of the websites who had some sort of a connection with Instagram before, back in, I think, May or June, Instagram decided to change their connections, and it completely stopped every single websites out there. And we had to rebuild it ourselves to make sure it works. My advice to you, Lindy, is to add more call to actions for your designers. Make it more prominent what designers you carry. And an example of that could be, that's good that you have bridal designers. Maybe, Pete, could you click on the bridal designers? Okay. So what happens when you click on all who wonder, for instance? Does it take them to, okay, you are on the website. Okay, perfect. So when you click on the all who wonder, just folks, remember, it is okay to show the designer's name and show their website name, but try keep the users on your websites. It's important that you keep the users on your website. You pay all this money getting the users to your website, and you don't want them to leave your website and go to another website. Like, let's say you're linking to the Knot, okay? Nothing against Knot, they're really good folks. But if you are having a little banner that, you know, if we are the premium, not, you know, bridal shop, that's great, that's awesome. But as soon as that customer click on that link and they go to the not website, they're not your customers anymore. They're the not customers. And what happened is they're gonna be greeted with a ton of other bridal shops because that's how it works, right? Same thing with the designers. It's great that you have their name. It's good that you can maybe put allwhowonder.com, but don't link it out. The minute they're off your website, they're gone. And they may actually find your competitor because they're gonna go to their store finder and they're gonna find a store that may be closer to them, right? Keep them on your website. The other thing you could do, Lindy, here is, again, I like that you have the call to action very prominently on that page, but make sure that you are listing every product individually. Why? It helps you with SEO. It helps you with engagement. People like to click and interact. Imagine Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all these apps, the reason why they are doing well is because the interaction rate is really high. People are using their, you know, their fingers, and they're basically going to different section of the website, apps, you know, other areas to learn more about the business. So give them the opportunity to interact and get engaged with your brand. Now let's click on the book an appointment and see what else we see here. Absolutely, and Lindy, we're happy to talk about that. So you have, great, that's great that you have different kinds of appointment. That's very, very good. Every block represents a different kinds of appointment. That's great. It looks like for some of your appointments, you have to pay. We talked about this actually this morning. I'm glad that it came up again, so we can definitely talk about this. So we have a lot of customers. Oh, looks like this page is also not secure. So you have to, Pete, you want to talk about the not secure real quick? And I can also jump in.
I mean, I just noticed on this page, it's popping up as not secure. So it's not going to let you just enter credit card information here. And it'll tell them they shouldn't if it's asking for that. I'm not sure if you're asking for that on this page, but yeah, there seems to be some sort of misconfiguration or something going on where it wouldn't be secure. You might check
and
in
if you click on that little no, not secure link, it actually tells you, hey, do not enter your information here because attackers might be stealing your information. So you know, you don't want that, right? You don't want your customers to see that, especially on iPhone, because iPhone's tab is big. You know, iPhone says, Apple says, do not enter your credit card information on this website. So make sure, please, that's fixed. And it's called SSL. The technical term is SSL. So now let's talk about this idea that a lot of shops are asking for a deposit or a hold, if you will, because they want to ensure that their brides show up. A lot of our customers are doing it. What we've done is we notice a lot of people go to the appointment page, but as soon as they see that there's a charge, they bounce back and they exit. We didn't like it. We thought, what can we do to make this work? So if you look at Eleganza, which you know, they're one of our clients from Scotland, and we have a lot of clients here in the US that are doing the same exact thing. But let's look at the appointment, Pete, real quick. What we did was we created a two-step process. And if you look at the step one, we ask for certain information like first name, last name, the typical information. When is your event? What is your budget? All the good stuff, right? On the second step, that's when we ask for credit card information. Why do we do this? Because some people come to the first step and they bounce, meaning they don't actually finish the second step because they get confused why they have to pay. If you don't have it set up this way, you can't retrieve the customers, right? In other words, if they end up not filling out the second step, our platform still allows you to contact them and let them know, hey, this is why we're charging this, and this is just a hold. Because with this method, you still have their contact information, you know who they are, you know how much they want to charge. If they fail to complete the second step, somebody from your shop could contact them and finalize the sale. In other setups that we've seen so far, if it's a one-step process, you either get the appointment or you don't get anything. And that's not good for you, because you will lose some brides because they get confused. They don't know if it's a hold. They're not familiar with the process. You don't want to lose those appointments. I hope I was able to describe this clearly. Pete, we could also maybe talk this website that you brought up. What was the name of the website again for Lindy? I forgot, sorry.
The Bridal Cottage.
Yeah, we can also do an ADA compliant on that one to make sure that their website is ADA compliant. Okay, this one is for sure, you have to definitely take care of this one. This is, and again, I'm sure there are a lot of other people who are not giving us their website URL right now, but I think the ones that are doing this right now, at least we can give them a quick overview on what to fix and prevent. So thank you for allowing us to demonstrate this, but Lindy, you have to have your web developer fix this. This is the ADA compliant that we were talking about, right? And you have to have basically a accessibility statement also on your website. And I know it's scary. I know that we had some issues personally because we didn't know about the law. You know, this was passed, this was enforced 6 months ago, and we had a bunch of clients moving from another platform to us because they got a lawsuit on other platforms, and they said, hey, we want to come to you guys, but we want to make sure that we don't have this problem. And what we did was we fixed all the ones that we had developed in the past, and moving forward, we made sure that every single website that we do is ADA compliant. You know, does it mean that they can never sue you? No. But if somebody goes to your website and see you have 0 errors, there's nothing for them to prove that your website is ADA compliant, right? So, or this one, for instance, because it has 28 errors, what they do, I've seen actually one of the paperwork, the lawsuits that was filed for one of the clients that they switched to us, they took a screenshot of the same exact screen, and they sent it to the court and said, hey, this website is not ADA compliant. We're asking $18,000 to settle with this client, right? So it's, it may cost you, I don't know, $600, $1,000 to fix it. Definitely make that taken care of.
Yeah, and so, Kathy, I don't know if you were asking by posting that if you wanted to check it here, if you wanted us to review it again. I think we can do both.
Absolutely.
I also got another one as well.
Sure, perfect. So Kathy, thanks again for allowing us to review your website. You have one error. The contrast errors are, you know, we discussed this also this morning. You want to make sure that the colors you use are, you know, there's enough contrast for people who have, you know, eyesight disability to see the content. In other words, if you're using a light gray on a white background, it could be hard for some folks to see the content, right? So we encourage you to use a tool. When we have 4 designers in-house, every single time they design a banner, they design a website, they use a tool to ensure the color they're using for that banner is ADA compliant, right? So you have to ask your web designer, web developer to change the colors, the gray on white, and make them maybe black on white, because this could be bad, honestly. You have one error, it's probably just a schedule appointment. He can fix that easily. But the contrast errors is something that you definitely have to ensure they're taken care of. And then as far as the design, Pete, maybe we could look at
sure. Yeah, let me pull
Kathy's website again, or yeah.
Yeah, and then this one was submitted as well. And
oh, sure.
Yeah, perfect. So we can go to Kathy's real quick.
Absolutely.
And I believe Kathy had the question as well. Is it better to have larger pictures on your website, or does it matter?
That's a great question. I think yes, the larger images would definitely help you. In fact, if you include the ability for them to zoom in, also that helps you to get more appointment. We do that for all of our clients. On mobile, we use really larger screens, and this is a demonstration how the Zoom actually work. But yes, absolutely. Anything that you could help your customers to engage more with your website would definitely help you to increase the engagement and more appointments. But this
Yeah,
website again, and Pete, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, but just be careful that larger doesn't necessarily mean like you don't want to use a really what's the word I'm looking for? Yes, like as far as for speed purposes,
Right.
for your website loading, you can overdo it, is what I'm saying.
Absolutely. So you have to ensure, and thanks, Pete, for that point, but you have to ensure the images that you are using for your website are web optimized. That's the key words, web optimized. What it means is whoever is doing your website, they're going to optimize those images for web. They're big, but they're not super high quality. So the person needs to wait, 10 minutes or 10 seconds to load the website. You don't want that. You want to optimize your images in a way that your website loads fast. So Pete, maybe we could show how fast our websites load, and maybe we could compare it with Kathy's website since she wanted to do a test. So we use this tool from Google to determine how fast the websites load, right? And this is going to do a quick test, and we can wait for a second. Kathy is saying, I size the images in an app, I guess it's called Pixelmator, and download them myself. That's absolutely fine. If you use our services, we do it for you automatically, so you don't have to do it every season. We have relationship with about 450 designers, across the globe. So again, this is an example of your website speed. Google says your mobile page speed is 5.2 seconds on a 4G connection, and your rating is poor. This is not good for user experience, not good for SEO, because Google sees that your site is loading very slow, and not good, right? Now let's take a look at, yeah, perfect. That one, for instance, this is the one that we designed, and we noticed that it really helps our clients to get better placement on Google, higher engagement, because it helps them to, it helps the users to load the pages faster. Our goal is to ensure our sites load under 1.5 seconds. That's our goal. If it's more than 4 seconds, the chances are the user actually exit your website, right? And you don't want that. You want it to be very, very quick. People spend, and this one exactly, this one, it loaded under 1.2 seconds, which is really quick. The rating is good, and the monthly trend is speeding up, meaning that on average, our websites are getting faster and faster. And the reason this is happening is because every month, we look at newer technology. We look at better things to optimize. Again, working with 300 bridal shops and prom shops give us the ability to learn our mistakes and optimize it, right? So, Pete, maybe we could also take a look at the other website that you mentioned. I think it's called Bridal Sense, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Very
you
good.
Want to test it?
Sure.
Or
you can test that, and then we could also talk a little bit about the design for Kathy, and then go back to Bridal Sense again. This is another test. And while this is loading up, you want to do the ADA compliant as well for Bridal Sense to make sure that their website is ADA compliant. Unfortunately, and I don't know the name of Bridal Sense, my apologies, but this
like
one
Nancy.
also, Nancy, okay, Nancy. You also have to ensure that your website needs ADA compliant standards to make sure that all of those errors are fixed. Otherwise, unfortunately, you will get a lawsuit in the next year. Okay, let's take a look at the website speed for Bridal Sense. This one, it says needs improvement. Speed is 3.7, and it's slowing down. So I don't know what the web developer is doing, but unfortunately the trend is slowing down. So you may need to reach out to them and ensure that they're optimizing your website for mobile load. And this is a free tool from Google. If you would like to do it yourself, you can go to this website, thinkwithgoogle.com, and there are tools to get your full report, to optimize your website, to faster your website speed on mobile or desktop. Very, very helpful. Now, shall we look at Bridal, Kathy's website? Perfect. Okay. So we talked about this, that it's okay to have a, to show, oh, perfect. Homepage. Yeah, good. Awesome. So we talked about lack of call to actions on the homepage. We have to fix that. There's no booking appointment. There's no phone number. We definitely have to fix it. But what I like about Kathy's website is the fact that she has beautiful images of her store featured on the homepage. And I want to also emphasize on one other thing that I always encourage my own customers to do. Instead of using, if you have the capability, if you have the budget, hire real girls to take photos of and put them on the homepage, or put the real bride's images on your homepage. You will get much better engagement. The problem with the designers' photos is the fact that they're too touched up. They're not normal. They're using all these models that, the photos, don't take me wrong. They spend millions of dollars every year to produce these photos, these videos. It's great. But what we notice is the brides respond better with the real bride's imagery, or the brides or the girls that they can connect to, right? So in this example, Pete, if you could have scrolled down, I think Kathy is using some real, like real people, I guess I would say, on the homepage versus like models that are touched up. Like, this is a beautiful picture. This is awesome. This is exactly what you should be doing. If you have the time, do something like this on your homepage. This will drive more appointment. This will help you get more appointments. Showcase your store. Showcase the designers you carry on the homepage. Add paragraphs, text, keywords on the homepage that will help you with your SEO. Now, in terms of the product pages, Pete, I think we talked about not having, if we go to like, yes, perfect. And again, Ann Barge is actually, Kathy, as you know, they're one of our clients. So we did their website for their Atlanta shop. They have a retail shop in Atlanta, one of the best designers we know. She's very talented. If you have a couture clientele in your area, definitely look at their stuff. It's beautiful. But if you look at this page, we talked about making sure that every single gown is featured in a page, meaning you are listing all the products individually on a page. The same example that we showcased previously. Pete, if you could show maybe this exactly. So see, every page has a product. The product has multiple images. It helps you with the SEO. It helps you with the engagement. They can put it into a wish list. They can book an appointment. They can Zoom. They can see more images or videos. In fact, actually, this is, I'm glad that we talked about this. Pete, maybe you can show Frost Weddings in the UK. Mm-hmm. We just launched this website, but we've decided recently to include videos to our client's website as well. So I don't know which one of these designers actually, I think Justin's gowns have videos now. I think we can check. I think it's the newest. Pete, go back to, I think in their fall, they provided the videos to us. Go back to Justin, and then I can see based on the images, which one actually has the videos. Go down. It's the new, maybe click on one of those. Yeah, I don't know. There are definitely some that we have the videos and they look really nice. I mean, we noticed that the engagement actually increases when you add more videos to the page. But again, showcasing, oh, that's one. Okay, let's see this one. So this is from ADK, I guess. But we added all the videos, and it helps. You know, this generation kind of grew up with videos, TikTok, Instagram, and they like to interact. When they see that you are actually showcasing all these gowns in a video, the likelihood of you getting more interaction with that customer increases compared to another website down the street that doesn't do any of these things. You know, no videos, no images, no mobile friendly websites, no call to actions. We also bring in all the attributes. So this is a good example. We know the fabric, the length, the neckline, the sleeve type. So we work with your designers, no matter who you work with. We have a relationship with them. We work with them very closely to get all the attributes. In some cases, in many cases, we had to actually teach the designers, hey, you need to provide us the attributes for your clients because this will help them to get more appointments. Therefore, you will sell more gowns, right? So we capture all this information. You don't have to touch it. We manage it for you. And as far as you know, the other services that we do, Pete, if you could open up the presentation one more time, if you don't mind. So this is the I guess the charges that we offer. So we have a $2,999 setup fee. This includes your website design and development. Every website that we do is basically custom. We don't use cookie cutter. I mean, we showed you at least 5 different websites. They all look different. Granted, they all have the same kind of structure, you know, like cars, you know, they all have 4 wheels, you know, they have certain features, but we try to make them unique as much as we can, right? And we charge a $299 a month to manage your website, to essentially do everything that we discussed in terms of managing your site on your site. If you, the site hosting, the security, ADA compliance, all those things are included, specifically the wish list, which is a big one, included as well. We offer a free trial. You don't have to pay us anything. You can use our free trial. If you're happy with us, you can move forward. If that's something that you might be interested, include your email, please, in the chat, and we're happy to reach out to you. The other thing that we do also here, if you go to the next slide, Pete, if you want us to help you with your marketing, meaning Google ads, Facebook ads, and really helping you to get more appointments and more traffic, we charge $1,200 a month, but we offer a guarantee, meaning if you use our gold package services, our marketing services, and you don't get increased with the appointments, we will actually return the money. And the reason why we have this guarantee is because 100% of the time, our clients actually call us back and say, hey, I'm getting more appointments. Otherwise, I would have never offered the money back guarantee. Because we know by building a good working website and having a good marketing strategy behind it, with 26 people in my team, we can make this work. We can make it to help you get more appointments and get exposure and compete against your competitors in the market, okay? So I would love to see if there are other questions. If there are other questions, I would be happy to answer them. I think there was one other website that we didn't review. I think Bridal, since we didn't get into the detail of the design, I don't want to miss that. So let's talk about maybe the homepage. So that's good. See, this is a good example. There you go. I mean, they have the book an appointment. That's awesome. I like that you have that. Maybe put the phone number as well, you know, next to it. That will help you get more calls, right? The social media, I'm glad that Pete, you're pointing it out. The social media, we don't recommend it to put it on the header. And the reason is you spend all this money to bring the brides to your website, right? Same kind of principle we explained earlier. Don't give them the option or the excuse to leave your website and go on Instagram and find a friend's post and start having a chat with them and totally forget that why they were even on your website in the first place, right? It's good to have a connection to Instagram on your website, but it's not good to encourage them to click on the Instagram post and leave them to Instagram because they get confused, they get distracted with the post, and it's going to be expensive for you to get them back to your website again. The other thing that I really like about this website is, again, the images are awesome. I really like the images that you have on the homepage. Look at that. That's awesome. I think these are real people. I mean, it looks like it. The photography is really good. I really like that. And then somebody's asking, where should I put the social media links if not on the header? Put them on the footer at the very bottom. See, you actually have them. I think this. I think that you have them at the bottom, and it's good. Just delete them from the top. Honestly, delete them from the top header. But if you could go up, if you don't mind, about us section. Sorry, go back to the
Scroll down.
Yeah, scroll down. Sorry about that. The about us section. This is great. You know, you're talking about why a bride needs to come into your shop because you've been in business since 2001. You're giving the confidence to this bride that, hey, if you come into my shop, I know what I'm doing, right? That's awesome. And you have, it looks like, is that a picture of the owner? I don't know, but that's perfect. This is exactly what you should do to give confidence to the brides that, hey, you can trust us coming to your shop. I love that. Now, the gift card, you know, during the pandemic, we noticed a lot of people wanted to buy a gift card to support the small businesses. That's good. I don't honestly recommend it to having it on the homepage right now. You can, but maybe you could put a banner about your, you know, appointments or a banner about your designers, right? But it's good to have that option on the website, not necessarily honestly on the homepage. Now let's talk about the gowns. What perhaps if you could click on one of those gowns, looks like you actually sell online, which is great. Looks like these are actually your sample dresses. That's perfect. So call for price. So you have the call to action, which is great. You have the product. So this is good. This is good, honestly. See, this is a good example of what we talked about. We talked about having the product name, the size, which is great. Images, they're large. And the attributes, the brand, size, style number, color, fabric, condition, and silhouette. And it looks like you actually included your own photos, which is absolutely fine. Again, people like to see real photos. Now, what else do we have here on the gowns? Okay, that's good. So do we know the name of this person? Sorry, I forgot.
I believe it's Nancy.
Okay, Nancy, I think the advice I have on this is if a bride goes to this page, okay, their immediate, at least my immediate reaction is that you are selling e-commerce, right? Because you have everything as, you show the prices and you have that e-commerce kind of look that, hey, because you show the prices, you can buy these products, and I think there's a shopping cart, right? My advice is to keep them separated. Meaning if you want to sell e-commerce, that's fine. Keep them under a different tab. But if you want to drive traffic to the shop, show the gowns in a different format to say, hey, these are the gowns that we have, and click here to book an appointment to try them on, right? That would give you a better, in my opinion, a click-through rate. And it kind of implies that, hey, we actually have gowns in our physical store that you can come in. And keep the e-commerce kind of separated, because depending on what kind of store you are, if you're outlet or if you are perhaps a off-the-rack store, this may or may not be a good strategy to show a $199 dress on the first page, right? Because if somebody has a $2,000 budget or $3,000 budget, as soon as they see $199, they go, maybe this is not the shop I want to, you know, this is not probably, I'm not their clientele, right? So, but by dividing them into two separate categories, with our clients, we call it sample sale or we call it outlet. We kind of separate them, completely separate them, because we don't want to mix them up together. We've tried it in the past, it doesn't work. Keep them separated, you will get better results.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Any other questions, any other thoughts while we have you, Nancy? It looks like your microphone is connected.
Yeah, I don't know. Everything on the site is physical inventory in store.
Oh,
So it's
perfect. So,
100%. It's not like separate. I do have a lookbook that's kind of in progress. Like
right.
I made that lookbook. That was going to be an upload for all of the designer dresses,
Sure.
you know, so that it's not e-commerce, but I haven't finished that part yet.
Absolutely. But you're doing a great job. Honestly, this is one of the best sites that we've seen.
Wow, thank you.
Just work on the ADA. I think that's very
Yeah.
important. You know, the fact that you're using real brides imagery, that's very, very important. And if you want, since you do a good job with the images, I can also give you some more ideas. So Pete, if you could open up Charlotte's Wedding, this is one of our clients in Portland, Oregon. And they're running a sale right now, looks like. And if you look at, this is one of our clients in Oregon, sorry. And if you click on, I think, Pete, if you click on resources, they have their real brides. Is that where they have it?
It's here.
Oh, Charlotte's Brides. Okay, perfect. So if you look at this page, we built a real bride feature on our platform. So what it does is, it's like a list of all, I guess, brides that they kind of bought a dress from Charlotte's Wedding in the past. And Charlotte's decided to, or I guess the folks at Charlotte's, they decided to interview them about the whole process, and they made a blog post. And this has been a really good way to engage the new brides. You know, so they kind of interviewed the whole process. Okay, how did you get engaged, and how was your wedding, and you know, tell us about the whole process, and how did you find your dress? So I encourage you to have this, and this specific store, Charlotte's, they're doing a really good job also with giving credit, you know, to the photographers, because it's a two-way relationship, right? If you have all these links to the websites, and we are kind of linking out in a way that like the DJ is there, the rentals are there. But if you get a link back from them also, it helps you with the SEO. It's there's a process called if two websites are linking to each other, I'm gonna give them higher placement on Google, right? So my advice is to take a look at this website as a reference if you wish, and incorporate some of the strategies about real brides. It will definitely help you get more appointments.
Thank you. I find a lot of that cross-linking happening on social media, like Instagram.
Absolutely, absolutely. Are you using stories on Instagram? Are you using the reels as of late? Oh, sorry.
Stories. Sorry, stories. I lost you for a minute.
Oh, sure. Sorry. Instagram stories or Instagram reels. Reels are the new TikTok, I guess, for Instagram, and it's a great way to contact. But if you'd like to get more exposure on Instagram, you can use the stories on the app, and also the reels, because those two are really helping our customers to get more exposure on Instagram for sure. Very good, very good. Any other questions? Do we have any other website that we want to perhaps review here, or are we all good here?
I have a question.
Sure.
Earlier, I heard that on Instagram, it's good to post 4 to 5 times a day.
Right.
Rather than once a day.
Correct. Absolutely.
And is that in stories?
That's a very good question. So as far as the stories go, I encourage you to post as many as you can. Stories, there is no limitation, okay? The reason why we say 4 or 5 a day is Instagram doesn't show perhaps the post pertaining to the time. In other words, they show your post depending on the activity level to your audience, right? Mm-hmm. So we encourage everyone to post 3 to 5 times. The sweet spot, honestly, is more like 3 to 4. A lot of our shops get great results when they have 3. So my advice is to at least do 3 a day. It's not a lot. A lot of big brands are now posting more. But if you're not posting anything on Instagram right now, I can tell you you're losing a lot of brides, because these brides, I can tell you, they judge the businesses based on their social media. They judge the businesses based on their website. Go ahead.
What about Facebook?
Facebook, honestly, we haven't, I mean, we've noticed that there's a little bit more activity because of pandemic, because, you know, people want to learn what's going on, you know, with the world on Facebook, but it's, you know, we haven't been able to really, I mean, we still get a lot of brides, don't take me wrong, but the effort that you are putting in place, if you do it for Instagram, you will have better, I guess, return on investment, in my opinion. And on Instagram, if you post it, you can actually connect your accounts and it would automatically post it to your Facebook as well, right?
But I've heard that it's not good to have the same thing going to different places.
If you have the content, if you could produce content that are just unique for each platform, that's great. You know, a lot of shops, they don't have the resources, you know, perhaps people to really help them to produce unique content for each platform. But definitely take advantage of the stories. Go live, you know, with your stylists. That really help to engage with your customers, schedule them in advance. If you have videos from your designers, you know, get those videos, put them on your stories, create a highlight on Instagram, put them into IGTV. Does anyone have any questions about IGTV? IGTV is like a YouTube feature, but on Instagram. It's kind of a hidden feature, but it's going to really help you to also get some views. I know it's a lot, and I apologize, but we try to keep this presentation as you know, Instagram alone honestly could be 2 hours presentation. There's a lot going on Instagram, but my advice is to utilize videos as much as you can. I think the importance of videos are becoming more serious because of TikTok. You know, TikTok is kind of forcing people to watch more videos in a way, right? So the other thing that perhaps we could also talk about, Pinterest is gaining more momentum. You know, in the past year, I would say that 2 years ago, if you would have asked me, hey, spend time on Pinterest, I would have said probably not. They don't have good SEO anymore, but something changed in the past year. They really tried to change their app and they made it better. Just create boards, you know, pin all your styles from your website to Pinterest. That will help you to get more traffic from Pinterest to your site. So the more exposure you get from all these platforms, the more it helps you to get more appointments, right? It definitely doesn't hurt.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Any other questions? I really appreciate everybody's questions. This was very, very good. Looks like that's it. Well, thank you again, everyone. We're gonna definitely send a recording to America's Mart. I'd like to also thank them for arranging this, the Val Market. I hear a lot of people are going, which is great. I'm excited to see what kind of turnout they're gonna have. But the fact that they're spending time and effort to put these educational seminars, webinars together, I think it shows that they care about the bridal shops and prom shops. So thank you to them. But I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. Have a wonderful rest of the day. If you have questions, you can go to syvo.com, syvo.com. And if you have a minute, click on that chat. You can talk to us directly. Pete and I are always online on the chat. You can ask us questions, and we're happy to answer any questions you might have. Thank you again so much, and thanks, Pete and Robin. Thanks, everyone.